Good afternoon, everybody. It's a hot Saturday in Delhi. Welcoming Mr. Bansi Kaul, and we have Mr. Sunil Gupta also joining us as General Secretary from the Foundation. We have a few guests who are joining in now as we start to talk. So we'll bring them in. Also, we are live on the Facebook as of now. As we go on, we start with the topic of today's art, culture, and tourism. We talk about art and culture and tourism all the time, but the tourism is dependent on art and culture. But today we will actually, in a conversation with Padamshri Bansi Kaul, explore this connection in a true practical form as we go on to share further. Just to start with the foundation. New Tourism Foundation was formed to become a think tank to create strategy and to help new policies for the trade, travel, state governments, and organize tourism promotion activities, and also create a bridge between tourism, trade, and the other ancillary activities. Also, it is also to understand how laterally how we can think lateral to bring tourism as a most important topic of discussion today. About the founders of the Tourism Foundation, Mr. Vinod Jutsi, Secretary Tourism, ex-Secretary Tourism, Government of India, Mr. Sunil Gupta, he retired as the CEO of Welcome Heritage, and a few more names to talk about. And about the speaker of today, Mr. Bansi Kaul. The people who have worked with him and known him from the field of tourism have seen him in a lot of many facets, a lot of many forms. Me as an architect, as a founder trustee of the foundation, a lot of very few people know that I started my career with Mr. Bansi Kaul only, where I treat him as a true teacher for us. Mr. Sunil Gupta, are you there to connect?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, could you please also show up and we welcome Mr. Bansi Kaul?
Yes, welcome to the webinar, Mr. Kaul. It's indeed a pleasure here to connect with you and this. It's not only to talk about the tourism, but also to focus on art and culture and other ancillary aspects of tourism. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Soni will take it forward.
Thank you, Sunil ji. Bansi ji.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
But Bansi ji, getting you on board is very tough.
It's not tough.
It was a long time due that we had to start this conversation.
And the photograph, my photograph which you showed on the screen,
yeah,
is a photograph with a cigarette. Which no more, I don't smoke anymore.
Yes, so, but there was a reaction from our end where he said, "Why are we showing a photograph with a cigarette in hand?"
Yeah,
I think it showed you in a true aspect of an attitude and that form that I have always seen you as when I started and working under you.
So I have the same attitudes. I have not seen my attitudes, but what I have done, I have asked, I said bye to the cigarette so that I can live longer.
Lovely. You have been at the forefront of tourism display, actually, the art and culture display, art and culture propagation. I mean, almost all departments of the country have used your, but involved you or partnered with
Sanjay,
you.
are you there?
I'm here. Hello? Yes, I'm here. So we all have seen you choreograph visualize, curate actually the presentations of the country.
Yeah.
What do you think really defines the brand as a country, India as a brand? The question comes to you in a context here where after this pandemic, we are trying to repackage the country. Every country is trying to represent themselves to the to the traveler or to the audience, to the world. What do you think really defines India or defined India?
Well, I have been part of certain collaborative works with the government, trying to do the kind of work I do, which is my forte. If indirectly it supported, I would say, tourism, I would say yes. If I was part of tourism, yes, then I was. But then my job was basically to see that how arts and culture flourish in this country and how you bring on this idea of India to the world. For me, when you ask a question like what defines a nation, for me, what defines a nation is ultimately a nation which is a happy and a strong nation. Our index of happiness is much greater. That's what to me is a good nation. And a nation which is the most trusted nation. And a nation which has a faith in multiplicity of its cultures, multiplicity of its languages. And a nation which wants to be the only friend of the world, the most trusted friend of the world. Now, how is that possible? It's only tourism can do that. If I want to be the most trusted friend of the world, tourism only can do it. If I want to be the happy nation, you can't be happy as individually. You can be a happy person, but you have to be happy person and happy person where you are part of a bigger world, where world sees you, trusts you, your happiness and says, look, if I go and meet so and so person, I will what you call be infected with happiness actually. So I want India to become a virus of happiness actually. I want to become India a virus of actually friendship. Therefore, I see tourism becoming that, in fact, in this country. Therefore, for me, nation is actually, trust, happiness, strong, and the most trusted friend, where the world is part of you and you are not alone in the world. And world comes to you and says, look, India is the only country where I can go and where I'll meet the most beautiful people on earth. And I want India to be seen as a nation where every young man of the world, young man and woman of the world says, okay, I am part of a certain country which has much bigger young population than anywhere else in the world. And this younger population, brings a new world order. And that can happen only if we decide that what do we want to do. Therefore, all of us have to get together. Those days have gone where you will say that how many rooms have gone on have been taken, how many rooms are there, which have been taken by tourists, or how many tickets have been sold, or how many restaurants have got work. There's a one part of it, but there's the other part of it that everything, you don't look at things only through money. There's something which is beyond money also. After all, when you go to somebody's house to eat, or if you are invited for a dinner or a lunch, when you leave that house, you say, oh, lunch was very beautiful, dinner was very beautiful. But there's something else you say. You say, it was a very nice meeting, it was a beautiful evening, and I'll miss the evening with food also. But what is that evening actually? Evening is the conversation. Evening is the kind of a friendship which we have created. Evening is that freshness which was there. Evening is ultimately the mutual respect for each other. That is what we need to look at much more than the money. Money will come to you. People will come and buy tickets for you. People will come and stay in your hotels. They will come and visit your monuments. Now, when I say that is something beyond that dinner, the food which you ate, Now, what is that beyond dinner? Beyond dinner is intangible, which you don't see, which can't be quantified. Therefore, you have to, in fact, look into things which you don't see, which don't physically, they don't exist, but they exist emotionally. And it is that what you have to search for. What is that which is very emotional about this country? And to me, it is that what brings in the tourism. You are different to the whole world. Because every country has a monument, so have you. Every country has best hotels, so have you. Every country has hills, so have you. Every country has lakes, so have you. Then why should he come and visit me? He should visit me because I have something which other countries don't have, which is we are beautiful people. We are people, who are simple. We are people who have a certain intangible attitudes. Because after all, world goes, let's not say that India should, whenever we try to create I have seen in many seminars, people say, well, we don't have great tourism because people don't come to India because we don't have great infrastructure. We are talking about the physical infrastructure every time. How many hotels we need, how many rooms we need, how many hotels we need, how many, whatever is the terminology used. Why don't we say that there are other infrastructures? I call it emotional infrastructure. I call it social infrastructure. I say it is an infrastructure of relationships. Is an infrastructure on brotherhood. Is an infrastructure on being the most trusted friend. So therefore, that has to be defined, and we should start talking about it. Probably world would be very different. And India has done it earlier. And India was all that. India was what I'm talking about. But then we have lost it because we have seen it only as a physical infrastructure. So let's go beyond physical infrastructure. It's important, yes, to have physical infrastructure. Okay, have it. But there's something more than that. It's like that, all of us build houses. You say that, okay, I'm going to build a house which has 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. But then somebody has to come and live in it. And when somebody lives there, it is after people come and live in that house, you bring the warmth into that house. Then what becomes a house, and there's a difference between house and home. I want India to become a home of tourism, not house of tourism. Therefore, that's what you have to look at it. Now, how does it become a home? That's why arts and culture and performing arts and people come in. First, you see, number one, we have to think of people and the Indian population as an asset. Let's not treat them as a burden. The day you say they are our assets, you will think very differently. Because the moment when I say I've seen it, people doing it, if you have a waiter in a hotel or somebody is cooking in a hotel, we see him only as a worker. We don't see him as a collaborator. We don't see him as a partner to the tourism. We don't see him part of our policy. We say, ठीक है, वो आया है, उसका काम खाना बनाना है, or at the most, we'll look at him and give him some tips and say, okay, bye-bye, you have done your job and go away. He has to be your partner actually, and he's your partner because that is what makes home. So till now we have been only thinking of India as a house, as a building, nothing beyond that. The day you make it a home, then it will be different. Our whole attitude will change towards tourism. So that's what I think is actually for me a nation.
I think, you brought in a interesting connect between, actually not a connect, but a differentiation between a tangible and the intangible part. This is where I would take you on to ask you, how do you see a relationship between the essence of a country and tourism? Is it only a place that I need to go to, or is it a place that I really cannot avoid going to?
No, it's not.
It's like once in a lifetime, I have to be there.
No, yes.
How do you build that brand?
Because you see, you have to tell them actually, what you think is your negative. Because every time we think the big population is something, which is a problem for India. This is an argument every time we give. Once you have a population, I say we know that. We know that we have problems. but turn your problems and your population into a brand actually. Make something out of it. If people of the world must say, okay, yeah, they have a Taj Mahal, they have other, they have what you call a lot of World Heritage monuments. See world beyond that. Now, just to give an example, I work in Madhya Pradesh. There's a World Heritage Monument called Sanchi or Khajuraho for that matter. Now, whenever I visit Sanchi very often, that area, what was Vidisha area, when you talk to local people who are living beyond, around that whole monument, जब आप नीचे से ऊपर जाते हैं, there's some small villages. When you talk to those villagers, they say, हाँ ऊपर कुछ हो रहा है. Where have you gone ऊपर? हाँ कभी-कभी our children used to go, now they are not allowed to enter that monument because they have now chokidar, which Sarkar has kept a chokidar there. So this child is not allowed to go and play in that monument because we don't trust these children. We think that children will go and break this monument or they will destroy certain things. Therefore, this man has no connection with that monument. So this human being who lives around that monument, you have to connect actually to the monument. You should become partner to it. You should own it. He should say, well, this is my monument. It's because of me that this monument is here and this belongs to me. Therefore, when a tourist comes, he should travel into the monument through these people actually. I say that a traveler who comes from anywhere in the world, if he's a traveler, so create other actually journeys for him. After what does the traveler do? He takes a lot of journeys actually. There's a one journey, say let's say from Bhopal airport to Sanchi is a journey which he takes by road. But what is the emotional journey he has gone through? No, he has not gone. Therefore, connecting him with the local people becomes a journey. So through local people, he's journeying into the monument. Therefore, his understanding of knowing monument would be different, very different. For instance, suppose the local people tell them, look, we are not very well off. Why we invite you for a small ordinary lunch to my house? No, it's not a lunch which matters actually to somebody's house or that villager's house. It is the home actually which matters. It's the journey into his home actually. So there's a journey not of a monument, there's an intangible journey into the emotions of Indian people. The journey into the sociology of people. And young people like it, young tourists likes it all over the world. He is not only interested in seeing monument, and he's not only wanting to know through guide, ये monument कब बना था, क्यों बना था. Because he can get more knowledge about the monument through internet now. Because world has become smaller, it has shrunk. Because there's so much information available on monument, when it was built, who built it, why was it built. But there's no information people living around that monument. Who are those people? Because that's not on internet. That's only we know. Therefore, this kind of a connect we need to create. Otherwise, I think to me, these World Heritage monuments have no meaning unless the intangible and tangible heritage is seen together. You marry them together. Others you'll be seeing them in isolation. That's why I say, when I say culture, to me, that's what is culture actually. Your culture in a broader sense is the people, their attitudes, their habits, their way of looking at things, or they will come and tell you interesting stories. There's nothing wrong actually if you ask a child in Sanchi, what do you know about this monument? He will have to tell you all kinds of stories which are not historically correct. But there's nothing wrong in somebody telling you a tale which is more interesting and entertaining. So see it as an entertainment actually. That child has his own notion about this monument or he has own attitudes about this monument. And maybe he will tell these tourists something that which nobody else has seen. Because this child has been playing there in that monument. He knows certain places which nobody knows about. Like we actually, if you remember all of us, we know more about certain towns where we were born, about those lanes, than anybody else, even an architect would know or a town planner would know. Because you have spent all your whole childhood running around in these lanes. So you know size of each lane and you know what all is existing in those lanes. So therefore I say that make them as your, what I call them actually entertainers of a different sort who are telling you stories about this monument which historically are not correct, but they are entertaining. But there is some kind of a what you call innocence in it. So to me, innocence is the Indian culture which we need to talk to the world. That we are innocent people and we are not, and we know a lot about life. So this is what we need. Instead of disliking them, treating them like a dirt, I am very shocked to see sometimes, because we are a country where there's been terrible casteism. We believe in that caste hierarchy. That's all right, yeah. That caste hierarchy is all right. There was a time when this caste hierarchy was there. Why do you bring it into your business? If you are sitting in your office, you still are behaving like that landlord without line, trying to tell your ordinary people how you should behave, or you tell him, you tell him to shut up. And I have seen actually our guides in some of these major towns, shooing away the children. Chalo, chalo, hat jao, So you are creating this attitude of being a racist actually to your own people. Therefore, you have learned to respect your people. Yeah? You learn to love them because of their love and respect, they will support your tourism. Ultimately, tourism for what? Tourism to get employment to this country, tourism to create a strong nation, tourism to create a business, tourism to create, certain foreign exchange for this country. But how will you do it? You can do it only by looking at tangible heritage as a heritage of innocence and heritage of love and heritage of friendship. That's what to me is culture. Culture is.
I think you've added a new stakeholder to tourism that probably the industry still has to look at to wake up to. The stakeholder is the original inhabitant of a around a monument, around in a region, which is actually the story behind the destination. How do you think that industry can leverage this storytelling? Because in the end, the industry assumes that they are the marketeers of the destination.
Because they have to make new friends in the industry. Because they're still depending on old friends with old ideas. Just to give you my example, whenever I have participated with this industry, I've been only treated as somebody who they have given an assignment to do a show, or to showcase.
Sir, could you be closer to the mic? Thoda sa echo bhi ho.
Yeah, I said that my experience with this industry has been,
yeah,
whenever I worked with them, their job, they always treated me like it's somebody who has been given an assignment to showcase India through performing arts. Nothing beyond that. Because ultimately, I am not somebody who's a furniture maker actually, who makes furniture and tells you, please come and look at it. Or they will tell you, look, there are tourists are coming, please make your performers to stand outside the hotel to receive them. It's insulting actually, because we insult our own people, and how do you expect others to respect you? Or at the most, I have seen this terrible thing which I see happening every time. There are these cliches of tourism. I don't know who has created them. Bhaiya, ladkiyan aayingi, thali layengi, tika lagayengi, mala pehnayengi. How does it matter? What is this, yeah? Because ultimately, what are you? We welcome our guests, we receive them. There must be other ways of receiving them and giving them respect. So don't turn everything into a tamasha. What we have done, we have turned Indian arts and culture into a tamasha. And some people like it, not that everybody like it. There has to be that dignity, which we have to fight for. Dignity to arts, dignity to your people, dignity to your own profession. Or, like I know one thing, that whenever I went abroad, when I did Festival of Indias, and when I did festivals for tourism, they were two different things. When I did Festival of India, you know, you were part of few festivals. When we used to do that, if you remember the former Soviet Union, we did a big festival in that big park and that in big stadium.
Yes, sir.
Actual relationship started only after the show was over.
Correct.
It was not during the show, because people came and watched that huge show, where we had a 30,000, 40,000 square foot performing area, which people can't even think here of, where we had built this whole water body in the stadium, and where we brought, now everybody is talking about laser and all that. We are talking about in 86 when we brought in these lasers and curtains and whatnot. But you should write about it. So now, it was only after the show was over, suddenly those 30,000 people were watching the show. The actual dialogue started after the show. That is why we were trying to build the relationship. And then people would come and wanted to take photographs of these performers. And you know, and that is why they became friends. I still remember people telling me, who are now of my age, they're still getting their telephones and they are on, you know, Facebook and internet or on a mail. The friends who they made 40 years ago, they're still in touch with each other. So festival did that kind of a job. But whenever I worked for a tourism, it was, हाँ आइए अपना नाचिए और जाइए अपने पैसे ले जाइए. No relationship, nothing. We could never make friends. We were used only as a, you know, I wouldn't say even product. You know, it's like, you know, we were used like patals. जैसे आपने खाना किया पतल फेंक दिया. So unless you do that, you know, the new world order has to change. How to use these arts and culture and intangible heritage to develop new world together. And because world needs it much more than it needed yesterday. Because we are living in a world which is sad. We are living in a world which is stressed. We are living in a world where we are talking to each other through telephones or internet or Facebook. People are लोग तरस रहे हैं एक दूसरे को छूने के लिए. You know, my daughter is not touching his father. Father is not touching his daughter. A child who you taught yesterday that जब घर में कोई आए तो नमस्ते करना चाहिए, जाना उनके पास जाना, पैर छूना. Today you are telling the same child कि नमस्ते मत करना और पैर मत छूना. Therefore, the time has come when we have to bring back this order to tell world, look, that we are waiting for those, you know, days to come back where we can touch each other, and touch not each other physically, but where we can touch each other's hearts. So we need to have some kind of a dialogue how to use art and culture now and performing arts. Otherwise, if you keep on doing the same thing, ठीक है आओ अपना नाचो होटल के बाहर खड़े हो जाओ. Look at the young world is looking at you. Young world is very conscious world. Young world understands what is racism. Young world understands that they have a greater sense of looking at that, you know, how to respect their own fellows. I know a lot of young people who come to this country, at least in art and culture, who I know who come to this country, they are my friends. They always tell me, why is this folk performer treated like a dirt? Why is it insulted always? And they come here as students and to study. And they can see that we are still practicing racism and casteism in tourism. It's not that people are not illiterate now. Whole world is literate. They know about us. So let's change this picture. You will see that. That's why I'm saying infrastructure of love, infrastructure of arts, infrastructure of, you know, where you can be treated as a trusted friend, and to build this relationship between the tangible and untangible. Then only you will have a different world altogether. And then now let's not go for bigger things. Bigger things, for instance, Let's create smaller spaces now to start with. After all, you can say, I don't want to show my play to 30,000 people. I say I'll show my play to 100 people, but 100 times. So the number utna hi bada ho jata hai. And India has to now go beyond these, what you call, World Heritage monuments. Say that, look, we have this big monument, but we have smaller monuments also. And then you have to create new histories for them actually. And let everybody say, India is they are the greatest people on earth. They are the best people on earth. They are the best friends on earth. Let them not say, "Arey, sabse achhi khana kahan milta hai India mein." Let not become a nation which is known for curries. Okay, वो भी जरूरी है. Let them, because ultimately होता है कि they get the same kind of chicken curry everywhere. वो चाहे भोपाल जाए या लखनऊ जाए, चिकन करी एक जैसी ही है, कबाब एक जैसा ही है, पर दोनों में फर्क क्या है? उसको जो सर्व कर रहा है,
Correct.
वो सर्व कौन कर रहा है? सर्व कर रहा है that human being. Therefore, that human being is very different. Culturally, is very different. His attitudes are very different. His way of talking is very different. Therefore, Lucknowi kebab looks very different than a Bhopali kebab. So therefore, अगर food को भी थोड़ा आपको अलग दिखाना, it is because of the people and the what you call as a designer, you create a different kind of ambience. Now, when I say ambience is not always architectural. I call it people are ambience of a certain nation. So when you create, as an architect, you say कि मुझे interior करना फलाने चीज का. आप क्या करते हो? आप कुछ textiles उठाते हो, कुछ आर्चेस बनाते हो, कुछ कांगड़ियां लटका देते हो, कुछ लोग चटाइयां लटका देते हैं to create an ethnic India. And ethnic India is not a bloody chatai to be hung here, to be suspended from the ceiling. Chatai is to sit on actually. So we are actually suspending culture, what you call the what we use in our everyday life. So it's like hanging all that everyday life, we are hanging in the ceiling actually.
Sir, I'll hold your thought here for a minute. Do you think, see, because you mentioned that Festival of India closing ceremony that we started to work with together. It was as early as 1989. This was the time when probably India had not even heard of event managers and events for that matter.
Yeah, no.
Do you think the stories have changed about the country or the storytellers have changed?
The storytellers have also changed in story because you see, I think every profession or every sector in India needs a different kind of a storyteller. Now, event companies, when they came up in this country, they came up because of corporates. Because corporates wanted to sell their products. So it was selling a product was a car or tea or something. तो कार बेचने का एक तरीका हो सकता है and human values बेचने का दूसरा तरीका हो सकता है. So event companies became experts for everything here. Only thing they are not pitching for now is ISRO. A day will come and they'll say you don't need a chairman in ISRO. ISRO भी satellite हम ही चला देंगे. Because you have started, and very soon they will tell you, boss, why do you need us? हम तो चूंकि एक मॉडल बना देंगे आपको, उसका क्या कहते हैं जो ऊपर जाता है, हाँ,
स्पेसशिप जो जाता है ऊपर आपका,
स्पेसशिप, या जहां से आप इमेज ले लेते हैं पूरे देश की.
हाँ, ओके, सैटेलाइट इमेजिंग करते हैं.
हम सैटेलाइट भी बना देंगे because they treat satellite as a model. Satellite is not a model actually. Therefore, you need a different kind of consultants, different kind of people, and different kind of dialogue. Now, yesterday I was talking to somebody who was telling me now, there's a one project he's doing on a car launching, like a second project he's doing on how to launch a monument. They're two different people, yeah. Sanjay Soni, if he's an architect, let him do the architecture, yeah. Let him not go and say that nahi nahi ab tak tum jaakar wahan halwai ka kaam bhi karo. Let people do what they can do. And therefore, this is a problem. The stories have changed and people have changed. Because आपको लगने लगा है कि get people who can do a turnkey job for you. So you have reduced ultimately whole nation to a turnkey. Get somebody जो लोगों का कपड़े भी same thing. It must be happening in when you open a restaurant. You get somebody. You have all kinds of designers. They will design your table. They will design your interior, and they will design costume for your waiters also. So it's a turnkey project. So let's not treat nation as a turnkey project, yeah. कि turnkey में वो सब कुछ करेगा.
So do you think that as we have progressed, so or not, I would say progress, because that will bring your other debate into picture here. How we look at awarding jobs in which are related to design and aesthetics. It's the kind of people who come and bid for these jobs are more managers than curators or creators.
They are managers actually. That's why it's a confusion between a creator and a manager. Because
So that's a transition that you have seen in all these years, which has come.
Because managers have taken over, where creator has been put, somewhere behind. So to me, it looks like, I'll tell you what has happened to you a purani kahavat. There's a saying कि बैलगाड़ी का कुत्ता. कि
बैलगाड़ी का कुत्ता. अच्छा, okay.
बैलगाड़ी का कुत्ता. उसका क्या होता है? बैलगाड़ी जब चलती है सड़क पर, तो उस किसान का जो कुत्ता होता है, वो अपने आप को धूप से बचाने के लिए बैलगाड़ी के नीचे चलता है, क्योंकि उसको धूप नहीं पड़ती है. एंड देन जब वो पहुंचता है जहां भी किसान को पहुंचना होता है, the dog starts barking, saying it is he who was pulling the cart. Actually, it was the ox which was pulling the cart.
Correct.
And there's another story. Once ox, बैल को पता चला he is taking credit for everything. एक दिन उसने कहा कि ठीक है चलो. अचानक बीच रास्ते में पहुंचकर बैल ने उसको लात मार दी, कुत्ता बाहर गिर गया और धूप में. और बैल अपना पहुंच गया तो रोते रोते कुत्ता वापस पहुंचा. तो बैल ने पूछा क्यों, गाड़ी मैं चला रहा था कि तुम चला रहे थे? तो कुत्ता ने आप ही चला. तो that is what has happened. वो जो बैल है ना, he has been, somebody else is appropriating the job. That's why what's happening now. कोई भी आ जाता, कहीं से भी आ जाता है. He thinks that he can do that. Managers can be creative also. I'm not saying they can't be. But then let them not be the bosses.
So here I would ask you something. जैसे हम the government or the state boards or investors look at tourism as a product. So investment का जो head आता है tourism में, वो infrastructure आता है, hotel आता है, airlines आता है. Do you think art and culture can be looked at as a?
It has to become I would say in a country like India, it should become a main head. Because it involves people as a employment, people as a heritage, people as a culture, people as a, when I say that to me, India as a nation is a happy nation. A nation which is happy. A nation which is the most trusted friend. A nation which is strong. How do you project this? You can project it only when you make culture as a major head of your budget.
Could you share some numbers on what kind of a contribution? See, because the newer generation or the people who are listening to this probably would like to understand what's the number, what is the volume of revenues that an art and culture brings in. Though it's a wrong question in basic to start with, because art and culture is the base of any kind of a civilization or community to start from.
Yeah, it's easy to understand. For instance, when a tourist comes to India, who is what you call a young tourist, who doesn't have big money, he goes back with his souvenirs, small or big. What is souvenir? It's art and culture. Now, if you look at that budget, how much money people spend on buying these small things. Then on top of it, when I say culture is not only a good restaurant. Culture is the kind of people who are working in it. They are also contributing to it. Look at then for instance, the performance sector. in this country. The whole of Rajasthan actually today lives on actually performance sector, their tourism, because they are the only state who have treated arts, performing arts as asset. And you see that all hold, but the only problem is that I wish they could also give respect to the people who are being used to perform for the tourists. So that respect has to be there. I was telling somebody a few days ago, I took few towns. I took a town like Odisha and Bengal and Kerala and Northeast Assam. These 5 states have around 1,000 performing companies, which are called touring companies. And touring company may each give the employment to around 550 people. And they perform in 10,000 shows a year. Now 10,000 shows, and their income every day is around the turnover is around 75,000 rupees a day. Now when you multiply 10,000 into 75,000, it's a big amount. Same way, I think the arts are actually bringing in a lot of money which becomes part of a certain GDP, because it is never looked at. Because this is again a part of a certain unorganized sector. As we say that unorganized sector is a 36% of the total economy of this country. These are government data. That's the kind of economy unorganized sector generates. So I would say we as an unorganized sector generate at least 4% of the economy, which is becoming part of. Then look at, for instance, the education. We have a lot of African students who come and study here. They are also investing, and sometimes government of India gives them the fellowship. There are around 6,000 students who are being given fellowship by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now these 6,000 students could be our assets, but they are also not looked after well. I have seen some of them, waiting outside of the government offices to collect their fellowship like beggars. And when they go back, what do they? The image they take back to the other country is that we are not being looked after well. And it is these people actually, we know that these 6,000 students who go back to their smaller countries, they should go back to their respective countries as our ambassadors. They should not go back saying that, well, I studied there, but I was not being looked after. So therefore, these are the actually economies which we are generating. Then look at the craft and arts. The 6% foreign exchange is earned by the craft and art and the carpet weavers and whatnot. Then introduce actually your tourists to the craft industry. Go and take them, make it part of tourism, that show them how craft is being done. Let them go and sit, participate in these crafts. And let them go become part of. Don't use them only khao, nacho or gao or jao. Make them, make this collaborative tourism, I call it. That where they come and a young tourist now all over the world, and the next tourist, because after 1 year or so, whenever tourism opens, who is going to be your tourist immediately? Is the one who believes in adventure, is young man. People of my age won't come because they'll be scared and they won't have so much of energy. It is people in the age group of 20, 25, 30 who are going to come. So create a new order for them, yeah. For instance, why hotels? Create this homestay you have already started. But create more village stays, I call them. Maybe in around Khajuraho, select around 50 houses. And then what I'm saying is then, for instance, there's another problem, which I was telling somebody a few days ago. In fact, I wrote also about it. I said, suppose we have 20, 30 World Heritage Monuments. Now, a person who comes to Khajuraho, just to take it as an example, he सुबह आता है, he goes and stays in a hotel, नहाकर जाता, खजुराहो temple देखता है, रात को रुकता, next day he goes back. Because there's nothing else to do in Khajuraho. If we had created these small, I call them cultural townships around these monuments, they could stay for 2-3 days. Now, what are these cultural townships would do? have small museums around them, these monuments. Which talks about that region, Bundelkhand. Because tell him actually India is a linguistic country where we have 450 dialects. Tell them India is a geographically linguistic, their linguistic identities. So tell them that. Suppose you have small museums you create within those around Khajuraho. It could be a museum on agriculture. Why only on art? It could be a museum on the smaller monuments around that. Then there could be some actually evening shows for them there actually that around the museum, and create this whole new cultural venues for them in these around. What you say when you say that we want to create smart town, I am saying that create smart cultural venues around these monuments. I'm sure there are 20, 30 World Heritage monuments, and use those spaces where a tourist comes and he says, I'll go and spend 3 days. If, for instance, if a theatre group is asked, look, we'll support you if you go and stay in Khajuraho. You run your small theatre group in Khajuraho, and then we'll give you space, and we'll support you with some finances. Any theatre director from that area will say, okay, let me base my repertory in Khajuraho, where he is doing plays. There could be some tourists who have some interest in theatre also, in arts also. It could become a place for a residency. I can do 2-month residency in Khajuraho School of Drama, or Khajuraho School of Architecture, or Khajuraho School. I know it's not possible to create School of Architecture, but cultural centers, small things you can do. You can do something, where workshops. And there's another area which we have never touched upon. Is it tourism for children of the world? Because ultimately the child actually who is now deciding about the tourism in this world. Whenever he has vacations, then only his parents will take him out. So therefore, whole tourism is depending on his vacations. So what is attractive for the child there in India? Therefore, create a niche that India is the only country which is a country where tourism and activities, a lot of activities are for children. So parents will say, "ठीक है यार, let me go to India. At least there's something for my child also." ठीक है, ताजमहल तो वो देख ही लेगा, खाना भी खा ही लेगा, पर उसके बावजूद समझे चिल्ड्रन दे आर इन जाते हैं पेरेंट्स के साथ ताजमहल देखते हैं और बोर हो जाते हैं जल्दी. Then parents shout at them, look at Taj Mahal, how beautiful. He doesn't want to see it. So therefore he needs something else. Therefore, what is that? What I call the tourism where you can attract this child. You can attract a parent through a child. So therefore, create this niche for children actually. I was always wanting, once I had given a proposal, you know about it, to create a toys museum in this country, which is very traditional, which is very environmental friendly, where toy making is being done. But it never got matured. I wanted a big piece of land. Ultimately, what's happening, we have lost those toy makers, and we have no toy makers in this country. We have only plastic toys. Where a child comes and makes a toy, where it becomes a workshop for him. So look into the child as a next attraction in this country.
So here you brought in very interesting few, what do you call it, tangents in our discussion today. One is the tourism for the children, because that is one thing probably I've always been professing, considering even a destination like Dubai, where child defines the holiday for a family for 15 years in a row. And that is what is built on a concept of repeat clientele for that matter. Because the child keeps on taking back his family back over there.
My only problem with Dubai child is, because we are trying to recreate for him the Disneyland everywhere. That's why we'll have to really think, what should be the India's Disneyland? I know it will be easy. The moment I say it and you say it, there'll be some rich person who say, okay, it's a great idea. So you'll get somebody from Dubai, please come and create another Disneyland for me in India. So ultimately, the idea of culture is defeated. That is my only danger I see in it.
You're very right. So you're right. The question here was, you're right on dot for the subject that we are addressing, the client that we are addressing, because that is what brings you a repeat customer. That's what truly sustainable as a business model.
That's why. Otherwise, क्या करेंगे आप? By why should Disneyland be in my country? Yeah? Let it be something else in my country. When I'm saying a nation which is a happy nation, a nation, जब मैंने अपने नेशन पर एक कॉन्सेप्ट नोट बना रहा हूँ, मेरा नेशन हैप्पी नेशन है, मेरा नेशन इनक्रेडिबल नेशन है, मेरा नेशन खूबसूरत लोगों का नेशन है, मेरे नेशन में 50,000 आर्ट फॉर्म्स हैं, ये तो मैं उसका नोट बना रहा हूँ ना, जो ब्रोशर बनाता हूँ. लेकिन वो आदमी जब यहाँ आता है, वो यहाँ डिज्नीलैंड देखता है, वो यहाँ वही देखता है जो उसने वहां देखा होता है. Therefore, the rich man of this country has to also understand. क्या हो गया है कि there are a lot of rich people, they want to only replicate Dubai in India. Create your own Disneyland, yeah? Create your own museums, create your own ideas.
So here I'll ask you one question. You're all, I'm sure you are running out of time. We have enough time here. Of creating something on our own, but replicating that we see across the globe. We have seen things like art districts. If you recall, we were together in Moscow, and there used to be that my first influence of an art district was that Arabad street, that one little street, which had almost all day the performers and the food and the street food which was going around. Also, we see when we go to London, the art districts that we see, or a Broadway for that matter. Why do you think that in India we could not still get art districts?
We have them actually. The problem is we have never looked at them. For instance, when I said that
I don't see them in tourism brochures, that's why.
they will not do it, because for instance, if you see something around Khajuraho, create art districts around Khajuraho, and there is what I said just now, museum, workshops, performers. So you can start it with, it's very difficult to start in one go all over the country, but you definitely can start with what is already existing with these major monuments, because there is a space also. Then you have to prioritize it, no? Okay, पहले मैं monuments का करता हूँ, फिर मैं कुछ streets ढूंढूंगा. Start mapping actually these ideas, yeah. And maybe someday you and me, we can sit and map this where all it can be done. We have to map it and then tell some further. You see, what are these tourism ministries doing? Tourism departments. They are doing, for instance, Madhya Pradesh tourism. I mean, I have seen they do light and sound program. And then in light and sound program, their committee, there is no artist sitting in that committee as a member. The people who should have been there, they are not there.
Oh, could you elaborate? What exactly are you saying?
For instance, suppose they have a committee which is looking into these projects about art, light and sound shows which are happening, which are going to happen. Say in Sanchi में होना है, Khajuraho में होना है, या ग्वालियर में होना है. या तो MD बैठता खुद, because in this country MD knows everything. He knows everything. He knows about science, literature, everything. उसके बाद जो है उसका टेंडर होता है. टेंडर के बाद जाहिर है इवेंट कंपनी टेंडर दे देगी, और उनकी कमेटी में कोई आर्टिस्ट नहीं होता है, कोई मतलब आर्ट पर्सन है तो कोई उसकी कमेटी में होता ही नहीं है. Some eminent person who will sit there, या कोई बहुत बड़ा स्क्रिप्ट राइटर नहीं होता है, will sit there in the committee. होता क्या है कि अल्टीमेटली ठीक है, because these event companies are asked, do you have some big name film star जो आपकी उसकी कमेंट्री करेगा. Ultimately, we have reduced this whole light and sound shows to these Bollywood stars. कि वो आएंगे, वो कमेंट्री बोलेंगे तो पब्लिक will come. Public don't come यहाँ to आवाज सुनने के लिए. And then light and sound shows also have to change. ठीक है, there are certain restrictions also. Bring on board your other consultants actually, who are experts actually in art and culture. आर्ट एंड कल्चर का एक्सपर्ट तो कहीं कोई होता ही नहीं है, वो तो खुद ही MD होता है या वहां का जो सीनियर कोई अकाउंटेंट होता है. इज मोर एक्सपर्ट देन यू एंड मी. वो तो शुक्र करो कि वो तो बिल्डिंग भी अब खुद ही बनाते हैं. वो तो चूंकि दे नीड अ ब्लडी स्टैम्प फ्रॉम आर्किटेक्ट, रजिस्टर्ड आर्किटेक्ट, वो भी बहुत हैं इस देश में जिन्होंने खोली है, वो रजिस्टर्ड मोहर लगाने के पैसे लेते हैं.
सर I think let's retain that discussion for some other day. वो मेरा दूसरा ग्रुप होगा जहाँ हम ले जाएंगे इस डिस्कशन को. But as a takeaways from today's talk, today's thought of today's conversation, I will come back to you with more conversations as we go on, because this interesting mapping of the what I can say, the essence of India, I think is very important. Because there's one more, we don't have much time, but I think there's one point we can still bring in, which you had earlier mentioned about that. Who is a true brand ambassador of the country? That person in the photograph whom you do not know the name of also. A photographer who clicks a photograph and sells a photograph on a tourism poster, probably you do not know that who the person is. Imagine a situation if you knew that person, you could really pinpoint that person living in a particular region, like a tribal or like a villager or like that hinterland space that you are in. Maybe it would sell the place better. What do you say?
Yeah, sure, that can happen. But you see, the problem is, I know in the last 20, 30 years, look at Incredible India posters. Look at the faces which they have printed on those posters. Is of a tribal, is of a villager, is of a old man, is a man with a pagadi, is a man with all kinds of... Whole India is printed there. But then whole India is insulted there after that. Then nobody talks to this whole India. It is only in posters.
So, but not only in India, in any scenario of worldwide marketing, the community person who's actually portrayed on that photograph, it could be a guy from a Texas or an Aborigine from Australia. There is no way to map that person or on a GPS locate where this David was from.
So that you can do only. That you can do only you have a you change your mindset. Therefore, you have to respect that what you are saying. But I've been saying it from the very beginning. अगर आपकी इच्छा हो ये करने की, it is not a big thing nowadays actually in the 20th century with the kind of technologies we have.
You are giving actually foundation a lot of work to do with all your thoughts in.
Look, man, yeah, if there's I don't know. I have seen Incredible India poster for faces. It's like, to tell you, when the geographic magazine,
National Geographic,
they printed a photograph एक बार Afghanistan with a young girl with very beautiful eyes. And it was only after the war, they were searching for that woman. कि कौन थी ये लड़की? And they found ultimately is a woman. वो जब तक लड़की थी छोटी सी, अब वो कहीं पाकिस्तान में रह रही है as a refugee, and she's a mother of few children. And they printed that also because there was a search, that traveling. That's why I call them India should create more journeys. By journey, I don't mean going on foot somewhere. This is what I call mental journeys, emotional journeys. New journeys have to, unless you get into this idea of to invent new journeys into our culture, arts, and our into cultural ethos, you won't find new policies.
Sir, I thought we will have a nice discussion. You've given me enough homework at the foundation. We'll have to work very hard to bring you next time on board again, looks like.
Well, nobody brings you on board in this country. Let me tell you that, Sanjay, because you are my friend, that's why we are talking.
Certainly.
Madhya Pradesh does a lot of work, but I have been never part of their tourism board. They don't even know who I am.
No, but I think it's very important to understand that it's not only the question of, this slogan that goes around is that we have to reinvent. But I think we need to be sensitive to what exists around us. And that is what reinvention will all be.
Yeah, we are reinventing on what is already invented. That's the problem.
Correct. So we are discovering the invention. In that case.
उसी पत्थर को रगड़ रहे हैं जो ऑलरेडी रगड़ चुका है, अब उसको इतना रगड़ रहे हैं कि एक दिन वो पत्थर ही गायब हो जाएगा.
Thank you, sir. It has been, thank you, Bansi. It has been always. अच्छा हुआ इस बार आपने डांटा नहीं किसी को ऑनलाइन, but it's good.
No, indirectly,
as a teacher, you have always been in
no,
a
indirectly, I said please learn to respect and get rid of this caste system, and get rid of this, insulting people. They are your partners. They are your collaborators. They are your active branding.
actually that's the tourism product in the end. It's,
Yeah.
it's the people, it's the food, everything that the human component that makes the tourism.
Yeah, it is what that's what makes me to live as a person of performing art. Because every day I'm looking into a new thing which helps me in developing my art. Yesterday only I was talking to somebody. I said we should now start documenting what are the children games we used to play in this country. Can we document all those games? Because I said that whenever I choreograph my play or block my play or the designs I do, all ideas I have got from my childhood memories. Yesterday, somebody is telling me, how do you create space? I said, as a child, I used to sit on a window and watch the snow on the rooftop. And I used to see the birds walking on the snow. They used to create these dot, 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 which means they would come and create certain formations. I said, these formations have engraved into my brain. It is these formations I use them as a design in my productions.
Lovely.
So therefore, it has to be done like that. Let this tourism department do some documentary work also. Yeah.
So would you like to close on some anecdote?
Well, I remember there are so many.
Anything?
No, well, whenever I worked, I have been always told how to do it. Sometimes they will snatch mic from my हाथ से. अरे छोड़ो ये मत करो, साहब आ रहे हैं. साहब के लिए मतलब रिहर्सल बंद कर दो. It doesn't happen only in tourist projects. साहब आ रहे हैं क्योंकि the साहब has this lot of assistant. और क्योंकि साहब के बाहर जगह दरवाजे पर गाड़ी उसकी दरवाजा खुलते ही इन परफॉर्मरों को वहां खड़ा कर दो. And with the performance says कि भैया हम यहाँ रिहर्सल करने आए थे. And then साहब tells them very good क्या कर रहे हो? ठीक है इनको अब यहीं खड़ा रहने दो बाद में. And I've seen all sahabs doing it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bansi ji.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.